So there's this online Puyo tournament that's happening tomorrow, and it was made for it has 48 slots in it, so only 48 players could play, but I wasn't sure if there were going to be 48 people who would want to play, but I decided to join it, and then as more people joined, like seeing the people who were joining, it started to be like, wow, this is going to be a really big event. So Void joined, and Void now is maybe the best player outside of Asia, and Void has always been like really good, but for a while I thought, if I just practice really hard, I'll be better than Void, and then it turns out I practiced pretty hard. I never got better than Void, and if you can practice a lot and someone still beats you consistently, that person's just really good. That's what I found out. But I think Void is really good. I think Void's gotten better, so it'll be interesting to see how he does. Then Akliv joined, and Akliv has been considered to be like pretty much the best player outside of Japan, but I think Void might be catching up there, so that'll be interesting to see who does better. But Akliv's always been really good. Shiro is really good. Um, Shiro beat me at Anime Evo the 1 year and has been good for a long time, so Shiro's going to be a contender. Hiku's always really good, I haven't seen Hiku play in a long time, and I haven't played against Hiku in a long time, so I don't really know how strong they'll be. They could be really strong or, not much stronger. Because I feel like a lot of people have been kind of practicing for this and playing really well recently. But Hiku might be the best player in France and is also the organizer of this tournament, so. Yeah. And AOD is also one of the best players in France, and sometimes they play really well. I know recently, like the past week or so, they've been having an off streak, so, you know, it kind of depends on how they do on the day, but I've seen them play really well, so they could be a contender. KZN is, like, they're calling him the best European out of France, and KZN is, like, one of the players that I've thought has always been, like, up and coming for a while, and now I feel like they're really competitive with some of the top players um, out of Asia. So, like, in the past, I felt like KZN was good, but maybe they were a little bit behind some of the best outside of Asia, but now I would consider them competitive with a lot with like the best players outside of Asia. And Elio, I would put in that same kind of category where it used to feel like they were good, but there was a little bit of a gap between them and like some of the best outside of Asia. But now it feels like Elio is really improving a lot and might be up there, might even be better than people expect. So, see that. Then Yoshi joined. Yoshi's been like considered to be the best player outside of Asia, as this says, and Yoshi's always just been really good for a long time. So, and Doremi joined too. Feel like Doremi hasn't been playing Puyo for a while, but when they did play regularly, they were like also really good. They were the same level as Yoshi pretty much. So it was like all these people joined, and then I joined too. And I hope I can be competitive. I think I can compete with these people, but we'll see. But it was kind of like all these people were in the tournament or registered, and it was like that's pretty much like all the best players outside of Asia, and it has to be like some of the highest level competition in an online tournament outside of Asia, pretty much, that we've seen. Maybe only one other tournament had like players at this level, pretty much, or this many of them. And then some of the best players in Asia actually joined too. So Norisuke is, I would say, not one of the most famous players, but they're one of the best players in Japan. So they're gonna be like one of the favorites to win the whole thing. And then Pipanir joined, who is one of the most famous players and is one of the best players as well. So uh, Pipanir is gonna be one of the other favorites to win the whole thing, pretty much. And so if you look at like later on, a whole bunch of people from like some of the best players from like Japan and South Korea also joined. So it really is an international event now, and we end up hitting 48 players. So it's going to be really exciting to see how this plays out because you have like, I feel like this is going to be one of the few opportunities for like some of the best players outside of Japan and outside of Asia to really compete with some of the best players in Asia in a tournament setting. So we have a bunch of the top players from other countries, like from the US, there's me, and then also some new guy didn't have a profile thing, but they're like a mysterious player that is able to compete at the top level outside of Asia. Riona is there, so they beat me at Frosty Frosting, so they might be a contender in this. You have Void and Elio from Brazil, Hiku Aoji and Doremi from France. You have Senpai from the UK, KZN from Germany, so and Yoshi from Australia. So you have a lot of people who are gonna like. You have like the best people outside of Asia, and now we have a chance to compete with some of the top players in Asia. There's a lot more top players in Japan that aren't playing, but there's a couple there to like represent Japan and to like go against. So so I think one of the big storylines will be if anyone can like beat the Asian players and and we have like contenders at least. So we'll have to see how it plays out. Now another big storyline is the format. So it's going to be um, two sets. You have to win two sets, and each set is a first to three. And I actually think that's going to make things exciting. So it is probably going to be like pretty high variance, but it should be exciting as well. And I think that's kind of a cool thing. So all you have to do is like win two first to three sets to win your match against someone. And so I think that's going to give the potential for some big upsets. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone can make a really big upset in the tournament. And, you know, I feel like there's a lot of people who aren't like in the top seeds who have pretty good potential. And if they just happen to have a really good day, they might be able to pull off some big upsets. So you may be able to see anyone like get up to a top spot. So that's going to be interesting. And some of the people who are like Elio isn't even given a seed to winners round two or KZN, and both of them are just so strong that it's like there's so many strong players in this. But and then on the other side, so there's two groups, and it's going to um, go to top eight. So the top four players in each group qualify for top eight, and then top eight is like a separate bracket. I'm not entirely sure how that works, but we'll see. But I think that's the other big storyline is that there's like a separation for top eight, so that gives a much more like achievable goal to everyone. Where even if you aren't really even if you probably won't win the whole thing, if you could just qualify for top eight, that would be really big, especially with how tough the field is. So that's like a goal to shoot for, and that's what I'm going to be shooting for. So this is my spot in the bracket, and um, so if I win my first round, I have to play against Akliv, and again, Akliv is like one of the best players outside of Japan, maybe the best, but recently, like we've been having some close matches, so I think I at least have a chance to win. I wouldn't consider myself the favorite, but I would give myself a chance at least, and it'll be it should be a competitive match if we face each other at least. And then if I were to win that match and the upper half goes as expected, I would face Pippineer to qualify for top 8, and it's not like it's not going to be an easy match, but there's some potential there. I think my style has a chance against Pippineer at least because we did play in a casual match once, like first to 30, and I actually got like 20 something. It was like 23 or 24. But I think Pippineer was like really not playing his best, but still like this isn't really at a good time for people in Asia. It's like 3 or 4 a.m. start. So maybe Pippineer won't be able to play his best and I'll have a chance. So I think I can at least give myself a chance. And if I beat probably Akliv and probably Pippineer, then I would qualify for top 8. But you can also lose once, and there's a loser's side that you can qualify out of too. So it's not over if I lose once either. But on the bottom half, there's Villain R, who I don't know much about, but they've been they've been showing some really good results in like the matches leading up to this. So they're going to be tough to beat. And then there's Void, and again, I tend to lose to Void. Occasionally I can win, but it's hard. And then Puyo I think is really good too. So it's gonna be tough. And even like Riona is there, Shiro is there. It, there's a lot of just good players that you have to beat. So, but anyway, I'll, I'll leave a link in the description to the like page for this, and then it should be streamed. I'm not sure how the stream will work, but yeah. Anyway, I'm excited for it. If I can make it to top 8, I'd be happy. But I'm they're giving me the 10th seed right now, so they're predicting that I will just barely not make it, but we'll see. It should be close though. So